Artificial intelligence. It's all around us today, from voice assistants in our pockets to self-driving cars navigating our streets. But have you ever stopped to wonder, how did this all begin? What sparked the idea of machines that can think, learn, and reason like humans? This journey is not a recent one. It stretches back over centuries, to a time when the idea of thinking machines was more of a dream, a myth, or even a mystery. Today, we unravel that story. The story of artificial intelligence. A story of visionaries, breakthroughs, and the dream of creating machines that think. Our story begins long before the first computer was ever built. It begins with something much more ancient than the machines themselves. The idea of artificial beings capable of thinking and acting on their own goes back to the beginning of human civilization. Think back to ancient Greece. The myths we tell our children still echo with tales of gods, automatons, and machines with minds of their own. The myth of Talos, a giant bronze man who guarded the shores of Crete, powered by a mysterious force. Or the story of Pygmalion, a sculptor who created a statue so lifelike that it came to life. For millennia, humanity has dreamed of building machines with minds, and even souls. But it wasn't until the 20th century that those dreams began to move from myth to reality. This is where our story really begins. The year 1936, a young mathematician named Alan Turing, a name that would soon become synonymous with computers and artificial intelligence, posed a question: can machines think? This question would become the cornerstone of AI research. Turing's idea, though simple in its phrasing, would prove revolutionary. His work laid the foundation for the concept of computation and what would later become the heart of artificial intelligence. In 1936, Turing introduced the idea of the Turing machine, a theoretical device capable of solving any problem that could be described through algorithms. Imagine, for a moment, a machine, not just a calculator or a tool, but something that could perform any task, given the right instructions. Something that could think. It was a brilliant, terrifying idea. Yet, even with Turing's groundbreaking work, the world was still far from creating intelligent machines. World War II had engulfed humanity, and the race was on to break codes and develop technologies that would forever change the course of history. Turing himself played a pivotal role in breaking the German Enigma code, a feat that helped shorten the war. But it wasn't just his work in cryptography that set the stage for AI. It was his deep belief that machines could, one day, be made to think. The breakthrough came in 1956, a year that would forever change the world. John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, Nathaniel Rochester, and Claude Shannon gathered at Dartmouth College for what would become the most significant event in the history of artificial intelligence. There, at that summer conference, the term artificial intelligence was coined for the very first time. They believed that within a generation, machines would be able to perform any task that required human intelligence. It was a bold vision, one that inspired an entire generation of researchers and dreamers. But as with all dreams, reality had a way of pushing back. The optimism of the Dartmouth conference would soon be tested. In the following years, early AI researchers created programs that could perform logical reasoning, prove mathematical theorems, and even play simple games. But the promise of AI was not easily fulfilled. Researchers soon realized that building machines with human-like intelligence was much harder than they had imagined. The excitement around AI began to wane. Funding dried up. AI faced its first winter, a period of stagnation and doubt. For nearly a decade, progress slowed, and the dream of intelligent machines seemed out of reach. Yet, even in the darkest times, the seed of AI continued to grow. A few dedicated scientists pressed on, believing that one day, machines could think and learn just like humans. And then, in the 1980s, something incredible happened. The spark that had once flickered to life now began to burn brightly again. AI researchers turned their attention to a new idea: neural networks. Inspired by the human brain, these networks would learn from experience, adapting and improving over time. A breakthrough occurred when Frank Rosenblatt developed the perceptron, the first artificial neural network capable of learning to recognize patterns. It was the first glimmer of what we now call machine learning. The world was changing. The 21st century arrived, and with it, a tidal wave of progress. The dawn of the internet, the explosion of data, and, most importantly, the power of computing. Machine learning algorithms became more sophisticated. What had once been a dream now seemed within reach. And then something amazing happened. In the 2010s, a breakthrough technology would push AI into overdrive: deep learning. Powered by vast amounts of data and enhanced computational power, deep learning allowed machines to recognize speech, translate languages, and even generate images from scratch. It was as though AI had finally found its voice. As AI grew more powerful, it began to permeate our lives in ways we couldn't have imagined just a few decades ago. From Siri and Alexa answering our questions to self-driving cars that navigate our roads, AI has transformed how we live, work, and interact with the world. But with this rapid advancement comes great responsibility. AI's capabilities raise profound ethical questions. Can we trust machines with our data? How do we ensure that AI doesn't perpetuate bias? And what happens when AI becomes smarter than us? As AI continues to evolve, we find ourselves standing at the crossroads of a new era. The future of artificial intelligence is full of promise and peril. From medical breakthroughs to space exploration, AI has the potential to solve some of humanity's greatest challenges. Yet, we must tread carefully. The very same machines that promise to change the world also pose risks we are only beginning to understand. As we create smarter, more capable AI, we must ask ourselves, what kind of future are we building? And who will control it? We are at the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where machines don't just think, they understand. Where they don't just learn, they adapt. And perhaps, in the years to come, we will unlock even deeper mysteries of intelligence, consciousness, and creativity. The invention of artificial intelligence has been a journey of setbacks, of triumphs, and of dreams. A journey that began with a simple question: can machines think? And today the answer is not just yes, it's what's next. The story of AI is far from over. It's just beginning, and it's a story we will all be part of. So as you go about your day, interacting with the AI around you, remember, you're living through history. The machines of today are just the beginning of an incredible journey that will shape tomorrow. And who knows? Maybe, one day, the machines will tell us their story.